So a few more questions to go. We're still trying to find the volume here, and the volume is always the area of the base times by how tall it is, or times by the height. So I can see right now that the base is the circle, and I've got a height of 12. Now the base area is the shape of a circle, and a circle, the area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. Now for pi, we're going to use 3.14, and the radius it says was 7, and we're going to square that. Now 3.14 times 7 squared is 49. I can't do that in my head, so I'm going to have to just do that vertically. Now 3.14, that's 2 decimal spots there, so I'll have to keep that in mind when I get my answer. Now I can multiply. 9 times 4 is 36. 9, 10, 11, 12. 27 plus 1 is 28. Now I'll start with the 0. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 plus the 1 is 5. 4 times 3 is 12. So I get 6, and then I get an 8, and then I get a 13, then a 5, and then a 1. And then I got to put that decimal spot in. So 153.86. Now that is the area of the base. So that's down here. And I can times that by how tall this thing is, which is 12. And that would get me my volume. So remember, volume is always equal to the base area, which is whatever, 153.86, times it by the height. And so I get 153.86, and I can times that by my height, which is 12. Now, if this comes to a point, we'd have to divide it by 3, but it doesn't. This is a prism, and the prisms always have base area times height. And the base here is a circle. I didn't do this yet, so I should maybe. This is a circle-based or a circular prism. It does not come to a point. We do not need to divide by 3. So it's just this. 2 times 6 is 12. 16 plus the 1 is 17. 6 plus the 1 is 7. 10 and 2. And then start with the 0. And then it's a 1. So it's 6, 8, 3, 6, 8, 3, 5, 1. I can add all those up. So I get a 2, 6, 12, 13, 8 plus 8 is 16, 4, 7, and 1, and then 2 decimal spots. So I have 1,746. 1,746.32 something cubed. I don't know what our yards cubed. So that is our volume. That is our estimated volume because we had to use 3.14. But that's pretty good without actually using a calculator. So I'll zoom out there for a second and I will do the next one. This next one here is also a cylinder or a circular prism. We do have a base. It's just been pushed over. So we have a base, maybe right there. And it's got the exact same shape on the other side. So it's not a pyramid. It's a circle-based or a circular prism. And for prisms, all we need to do is find the area of the base and then times it by the height. Now the height is sideways, but here's our base area, and then we times it by how tall it is, and it's been pushed over, but it's 10 centimeters tall, so that is going to be our height. Our height will be 10. And the area of the base is a circle, so it's going to be pi times the radius squared. What on earth is the radius? 4. Okay. So it's going to be 3.14, that's our pi, times the radius squared, which is 4. So I have 3.14 times 16. Now I'll do that vertically, so down here, times that by 16. 6 times 4 is 24, 6, 7, 8. And then 6 times 3 is 18. There's a 0, and then 1 times 4, 1 times 1, 1 times 3, and I can add them. 4, 12, 8, 9, 10, 3, 4, 5. And is there 2 decimal spots? Yes, there is, so I will do that, 50.24. So that's our base area, and then we have a height of 10. And it's a prism, right? Yeah, we don't divide by 3. So we can have a therefore our volume is our base area times our height. That's what it always is. And it's 50.24 times by however tall, which in this case is 10. And I like multiplying by 10 because that just moves the decimal place over. So 502.4, and then centimeters cubed. And that is our volume of a cylinder or our circular prism. So I'll zoom out here, and then we can go right on to the next two here. Yeah, let's get 2 circular prisms. I think the next one, is it a cone? It is. Okay. Well, that's easy enough. It's the same thing, the base area times the height. We just want to make sure at the very end we are going to divide by 3. And that's because it is a pyramid. It's a circle-based or circular pyramid. Pyramid. So let's start with the base area. The area of the base. So there's my base right here. That is a circle. So the area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. What's the radius? Is 8 miles. Wow, that's absurd. But whatever, 8 squared, which is 64. So I'm going to go 3.14 times that by 64. So 4 times 4 is 16. 4 plus the 1 is 5. 4 times 3 is 12. 1256. I've seen that before. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 plus 2 is 8. 6 times 3 is 18. So I've got a 6, I got a 9, I've got a 10, I've got another 10, and a 2. Now the decimal place was moved over twice, so I'll move it back. Therefore, I get an area of 200.96, I don't know, whatever that is, miles. The area, so miles squared. The height of this thing, so I've got the height, and the height is right there. It is 16. So I'm going to have a height of 16. Therefore, my volume is going to be my base area times my height divided by 3. Now my base area was 200 and something. Is that 200.96 times by my height. I'll do that vertically. And then I can divide that by 3. This is going to be a little bit nuts. So 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 9 is 54. 54, 55, 56, 57. And then 0. 0 plus 5 is 5. And then 0, and then 12. Start with another 0. And then it's 1. Okay, so that's 6, 9, 0, 0, 2, and I can add that all up. So I get a 6, 13, 15, 1, 2, 3. So I get 3,215.36. And then I now have to take that number. This is absurd. And I now have to take that and divide it by the 3. So I'm going to go 3 into 3215 point. I put the point up there. 36. So 3 goes into 3 one time. That gets me a 0. And bring down the 2. 3 goes into 2 0 times. So I can bring down the 1. 3 goes into 21 7 times. 7 times 3 is 21. So then I can bring down the 5. 3 goes into 5 once. 1 times 3 is 3. There's a 2. Bring down the 3. 3 goes into 23 7 times as well, which gets to be 21, which is a 2. And bring down the 6. That's 8. 8 times 3 is 24, which is a 2. So you can add a 0. I don't have a remainder, 20. And I recognize this 3 goes into 20 6 times. And that's going to get me an 18, which should get me a 2 again. If I bring down a 0, I get 20, which I'll have to do a 6 to get 18. And you're going to keep doing that so many times because it's going to add another 0. Watch. Put that down. That's 0. I get a 6. That gets me an 18. Get another 2. Every time I get it, I'm going to bring down a 0. I'll make it 20. And then I'll have to do 18 to get me a 2, which is 20, 18, 2, 20, 18, 2. So I'm going to get this repeated 6. So this is my final answer. I get 1071.786 repeated. Was it miles or something absurd? Cubed? I have to just double check that because I can't remember. Yep, it is miles. So again, it seems like we did a lot there. The area of a base is just a circle though, so pi r squared, we got 200.96. And then we had to do that with a height. A height was 16. And we had to multiply 200.96 times the 16. We got something stupid like 3,215.36. And then you got to take that number and divide it, and just our luck, it doesn't actually divide very well, so we do some long division, and it's got a bunch of 6s at the end. But that is a pretty accurate volume that we've calculated, and it was all done without a calculator. Now, this last one is actually very simple in that there's only one thing to do, and you just have to know the formula. So the formula is 4 pi radius cubed, and then once you're done, divide it by 3. So you're going to have 4 times 3.14. The radius is, well, that's the diameter is 8. So the radius would be 4, I guess. So radius would be 4 cubed divided by 3. Now I'm going to do the easy stuff first. 4 cubed, 4 times 4 times 4, and another 4 actually. So I'm going to have to go 4 times 4 and another 4 times 4. Well, that's 16 and that's 16, so I have to go 16 times 16. That is what I actually have to do. So 16 times 16. 6 times 6 is 36. Carry the 3. 6, 7, 8, 9. So 96, 0. And then 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 1. So I get a 6. 9 and 6 is 15. So 256. So I get 256 times by 314, 3.14. And then take that number and divide that by 3. So I can do some long division. I've got 256 times 3.14. So I'll have to do that. And just remember that there's 2 decimal spots there that I'll have to take care of after. So 6 times 4 is 24. 4 times 5 is 20 plus the 2 is 22. 8, 9, 10. So there's a 0, and I'll have to do a double 0 for the next row, so I'll write that down. 1, okay, that's nice. That's going to be a 6, 5, and a 2. And then 3, 6 times 3 is 18. And then 15 plus the 1 is 16. 3 times 2 is 6 plus the 1 is 7. So I get a 4, 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. And then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then an 8. And then the 2 decimal spots. So I have a number like that, 803 divided, or 0.84, and I have to make sure now just to divide that by 3. So I will go 3. If you can hear a kid screaming, I'm sorry. That's 803.84. So 3 goes into 8 twice, That's going to be a 6. That says 2. Oh, great. There's that 20 again. 3 goes into 20 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. Just 2. Okay, nice. At least I can bring down the 3. 3 goes into 23 7 times. Oh, there's my decimal spot. 7 times 3 is 21. There's a 2 again. Okay, at least it's a 28. 3 goes into 28 9 times. 9 times 3 is 27. Nice. Got a 1. And then bring this down. So 14. 3 goes into 3 goes into 14. Not 5. 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12, which is a 2. And there's that 2 again. So you're going to put a 0 here. And then bring down that 0. You're going to get 20. It's going to be a 6. 6 times 3 is 18. Remainder of 2. You're always going to get 20. So that 6 is repeated. So, which equals 267.946 repeated, whatever our units are. Meters. Meters cubed. So, obviously, that's a lot of work. That's why, like on a test or an assessment, there's not very many of these that I'll do. I'll just throw a couple of them on, and we can go from there. You're going to need to know how to do a cone and a sphere and a cylinder. And so for the cone, it was 4 pi r cubed, and then you have to divide it by 3. And for the for the sphere, that's what that was. And then for the cone, there is the base area times the height, and then divided by 3. And for the cylinder, it's just the base area times the height. Dividing by 3 can be a real pain. I was actually pretty dumb here because I made this 16. If I had made this 18, we could have had a much nicer number because 18 can be divided by 3. 16 can't. Here, that was kind of dumb. I should have made that like an 18 where the radius was 9, and 9 can be divided by 3. But instead I made the radius 4, and 4 can't be divided by 3. So that's just stupid on my part. So there is a lot of work that goes into this, but you can practice it, and there's some in the worksheets for you to try.